Hello, good evening. Welcome to Space Oddities. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening for the 8th test flight of SpaceX Starship. As you can see, top right of the screen, things are going well. The spaceship is being fueled, and we're looking now at just under 13 minutes until launch. I'm joined this evening by Daz and Michael. How are you?
Hi there.
Yeah. This is our third outing today on Space Oddities. We covered the launch of Europe's Ariane 6 rocket this afternoon, which went very well and without a hitch, putting a French military satellite into orbit, the second flight of the Ariane 6 and its first commercial mission. We also covered the IM-2 landing on the moon earlier this evening. And if you joined us then, you will know that when we left you, when the NASA feed ended, they didn't really know what had happened to the lander. All they knew was it was on the ground and transmitting data. There was a press conference from NASA about an hour ago, and what they think happened is that the lander has, for the second time with intuitive machines, tipped over on the moon and is probably on its side. They're going to get the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter to take images from lunar orbit to try and work out exactly where it is and whether it is upright or laying down. If it is laying down, it remains to be seen how much science can be done by the mission. If it is laying down and they are not able to carry out the experiments they plan to, it's a great disappointment, because there are some really interesting payloads on that lander to study the moon. And it's our hearts go out to intuitive machines again for unfortunately what appears to have been a faulty landing. But as we always say, space is hard, and the lander has landed on the south pole of the moon, a mountainous region, and needed really advanced visual recognition software to work out its own landing place and act autonomously during the landing. That all seems to have worked fine, but these things happen, and intuitive machines have already said it's not going to put them off. They will be back again with another lander, so probably in about a year's time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Anyway, on to Starship. So this is the 8th test flight of Starship. There was an aborted attempt earlier this week, and it had been delayed before that. So hopefully third time's the charm, and we will get to see this magnificent beast of a vehicle lift off today. We're not quite sure how long our stream is going to last, because obviously it depends on a few things, not least of which is the ability of Starship to complete its trajectory most of the way around the world and splash down in the Indian Ocean. As you will recall from Flight 7, that didn't happen because the flight termination system exploded the Starship after there was a fuel leak, which led to disaster. But that apparently was caused by many more vibrations on the way up into orbit than they had expected. So this was quite a simple engineering challenge. They have redone some of the engine piping, if you like, from the fuel supply system, taken out a few bits that they didn't really need, and made the whole thing more robust. So that particular incident shouldn't happen again. But we will see what happens today. Any thoughts, guys, before we go into the last few minutes of the count?
You go first, Michael.
Nothing special. Just looking for a good launch and get loads of data again. As it is a test flight, we don't know what's going to happen. We know what they want to happen, but just need it to go well. And yeah.
And here we are. We're joined by Roger as well. How are you, Roger?
Oh,
he's mute again.
Yeah, you just saw the test flaps being flapped around, so they're testing all the joints and all that, like we do in the morning. I don't know whether they ache like mine do in the morning. But
I'm going to leave you for a few minutes, and I really need to restart my machine because it's slow.
Okay, then. Altogether, this flight's going to, if everything goes well to plan, it's going to be 1 hour and 6 minutes. But of course, before the end, within sort of like the first 20 odd minutes, we hopefully will see the booster return back to the landing tower and be caught again. But then, of course, then we've got the Starship actually carrying on to flying, orbits and all that. I don't think it's doing a full orbit this time, but they will be testing some systems. They've done some systems in it that will actually enable it. I think they're just going to test them out, run them, but as a sort of like a mimic of actually returning the Starship to Boca Chica in future, just so that it will land. It's just so that the programs are there. And they're just going to test it out. We've also got the test of the Starlinks. They're going to be launching 4 dummy Starlink to test the PESP dispenser, as they call it. So that'll be going on. They'll also be reigniting the vacuum engine in space. It's basically everything that they've been doing in the last couple of test flights. But of course, this one they've got to put it all in again because of, unfortunately, the accident we had in the last test flight with the loss of Starship. So yeah, there's definitely lots more of innovation in here. They've rounded off some of the surfaces. They've removed things and they've added things. They've corrected the problem that they had from which caused the loss of the Starship, which is a small fire. It was sort of in between the skin of the actual Starship and, unfortunately, one of the fuel engines, fuel tanks. And if I don't know if you were with us before, but you could see a picture of the flaps, but you could see in one of the hinges there was a small flame flickering, and it wasn't long after that they lost the Starship, unfortunately. But there's several innovations in this one. This is probably one of the tallest Starships we've had because they've increased the size of the tanks in the Starship, which has raised it up by a meter or two. And this is for future flights when they do bring it back to Boca Chica for the landing and all that, because they're going to need bigger tanks and that.
Yeah, they've got a number of experiments looking towards that now on the Starship.
Exactly. Yeah.
Test getting it back to Boca Chica for catching it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're catching it. So hopefully we'll see the catch of the booster again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will go on and hopefully see a splashdown in the Indian Ocean of the Starship. And of course, everybody, the amount of people you see jump on as soon as they see the Starship land in the sea, it hovers, then it just drops down into the sea, it explodes, and everybody says it's a failure. If anybody knows anything about heat, thermodynamics, and heat, and if you put something very, very hot into very, very cold water, it's going to either shatter or it's going to buckle or it's going to do something, and that's what tends to happen. And there is some fuel still left on side, and it's going to ignite. So that's why we always see an explosion after the start. It hasn't crashed. There was no problem. What they're looking for is they're looking for the hover, first of all, because that's what they're going to need when they catch it. Ian says, yes, third time's the charm. Yeah, we certainly do hope so, Ian. Kenneth's talking about the lander today. Said if it was on its side with the engine still firing, did it go sledging? Well, we don't know. We'll in the lunar orbiter images in the area, so we may see a big streak across the thing, but it's very unlikely. The thing is, they said during the actual show that if it's on its side, the engine would automatically cut off.
Yeah.
So if it has tipped over, it's not fully horizontal for the engine to be able to carry on firing for as long as it did, and it was a long time. So I'd like to just say hi, Kev. Hi, Ian. Hi, who we got? Paul. Nice to see you, Paul. Kenneth. That's nice to see you. Who else we got in? Who else we got? Let's have a look. Thank you for joining us on this late hour. and we hope to. We're going to have a success. Oh, and hi, submarine Cobb Pate. Nice to see you. Yes, we're all expecting great expectations. So we've got something to look forward to. So let's just hope we actually get some success. We're sort of like batting 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah. So there's 2 minutes 45 seconds left in the countdown, according to that.
Right. Okay. Then let's go over to. Here we go. Let's have some sound. Just bear with me.
Ship launch. 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes.
Want to have a quick rundown what happens in the next 2 minutes, Adas, or do you have different plans?
Go for it, Adrian.
We will have the transition to internal power at 1 minute, of course, and then we have the SpaceX flight director hopefully verifying go for launch at T-minus 30 seconds. Of course, before that is the optional hold point at T-minus 40, which right now we expect them to not take. Yep. And then at 10 seconds, we have the flame deflector activation, where we will see the deluge system spooling up. At 3 seconds, they will start the Raptor ignition, and once they are looking healthy, they will bring the thrust-to-weight ratio of Starship, which is no longer being held down on the pad. It's freestanding. They will bring that thrust-to-weight ratio over 1, and with that, they're committing at T0 for go for launch. So, yeah. 90 seconds from now, we are looking at everything still being on track.
So far, it doesn't look like they're going to be holding or anything. Right now, doing TVC checks, you can see there, they just stopped. Yeah. But they were doing some wiggle tests there on the center engines of the booster. 25 seconds from that optional hold point. Obviously, we don't want that to be an actual hold point, right? We just want them to fly through that, get to the go for launch from the flight director, and hopefully, all of the deluge activation and everything that you just went through.
And as soon as we see the deluge, Alex and I will completely be silent and let you enjoy the launch and hopefully enjoy everything that is going on. We are waiting for confirmation if they are going through that hold point, and we are waiting for that. Once that is confirmed, we are just seconds away. I think we see did we already see the DSS?
Looks like they're holding.
Oh, they're holding, okay. So that is okay.
Looking at
Don't
temperatures
panic.
on the ship.
There we go. Don't panic yet. They have plenty time to hold. Sometimes they just troubleshoot a few minutes, and once they are confident, once everything looks good, they will progress. This is not. I
saw the vent on the side,
which means they're probably releasing the hold.
There's the DSS, I think.
It's hard
Detonation
to spot.
suppression system.
Yeah,
there we
watch
go.
for deluge.
Okay, watch out. Yeah.
We're going.
And at this point, we will be quiet. See you on the other side.
Yeah, we go.
Go Starship.
Whoa.
Any last thoughts, guys?
Well, here we go.
There you go.
We have a launch.
There we are. That looks a perfect light. Got the fake diamonds. Lovely.
Yeah.
It just amazes me every time that they get this thing off the ground.
Yeah. The view from the drone.
Here comes the sound.
Yeah. That is the thing.
And Starship is airborne.
Oh, perfect light, look.
All 33 Raptors lit.
Yeah, on it. All up and running.
It's a lovely sight every time.
It's beautiful. Look at the Mac Diamond.
All right, we're a little over 40 seconds. Into the flight. We are seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines ignited. Boosters pushing us downrange over the Gulf. Next milestone coming up in just under 10 seconds is going to be max Q, that max aerodynamic pressure.
beautiful. Look at it go.
Map Q.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
All right, so
Look
we're
at the
through
pink
max Q.
inside
That's
the
the
exhaust.
heaviest stresses it's kind of seeing on the way up. Wow, that was pretty incredible.
I'm still recovering. That was amazing. Beautiful views of the vehicle on ascent, pitching downrange away from the launch tower.
And we are seeing
Additives are everywhere around us.
sorry.
Over 50% of the products on store shelves
Bang
are
a
packed with artificial ingredients. We at Vilgain remove additives.
good so far.
That's rude of them.
And we are, I mean, Alex, so far so good, right? We are, everything
Yeah.
looking good. We are about 30 seconds away from hot staging.
Yep, next up should be hot staging. That hot staging will be 30 engines shut down, and then ignition of the ship engines and separation of the booster.
There
Watch
we
out for the
see
grid fins to turn.
Yeah, everything looking good here on the Raptor engines on the left. You watch for that very violent boost back flip. You will see that after that's expected. But it looks quite interesting. That's the preparation for hot staging. That's hot staging.
Yep. From our
And
cameras.
I think
look at
there's
that.
the boost back. Look at that flip.
Wow.
Wonderful. Oh,
That's
that
the boost
flip.
back burn start.
That was an interesting flip, but I think that looks good on the boost back. Yeah, that looks good, right?
Looks like 2 engines might be out on the boost up,
Okay.
on the boost back burn.
Yep.
We will await confirmation what that means for the catch. Of course, SpaceX will say something that, again, the flight director needs to confirm a go for catch. That is the requirement. We also see 6 healthy engines on ship 34 right now, which is, of course,
Still
their
looking
main
like they're
objective.
go for return, but obviously they are checking all of the parameters.
And remember, the last time we had an engine out as well, and that was not something that stopped them from going for a catch. So that doesn't mean anything yet. Still go for catch, apparently. And we are still looking at a booster returning, awaiting final confirmation from SpaceX for go for catch. That usually happens after the shutdown of the boost back berm, is where they confirm. Also, look at the ship. Look at continuously if all engines are
You can
ongoing.
see, look right over where the center engines are. You can see the purple hue there.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
And we are awaiting final catch go.
Still so good. So far, so
Yeah.
good.
Everything good, everything good. We like to see what everything looks to be okay right now. Of course, the final okay
There's
will
a
be
hot
done by the flight
staging ring
director.
separating. Look at that.
Oh, it's floating away. And we are now usually at the frame where they commit for a catch. We have not heard anything of the contrary yet. And the catch would be in 2 minutes from now.
Fantastic views
And
from the booster.
Fantastic.
let's see. The boost back burn might be a bit late because 2 engines were out, so maybe they have
Yeah.
corrected a bit. So maybe the timeline is a bit off, but
Some of the times might be off precisely because of that. Those 2 engines out, of course, will affect that timeline. But I have not heard any callouts that they are not going or anything. Still
yeah, I
going
mean,
for it.
honestly, that booster is starting to aim now. So looking like they might go for it.
Hey.
I want to jinx it as a commentator here.
That's
but
a
that
funny
booster-
looking hot staging ring.
But that booster looks to me like it's on track for the tower, Alex.
Yeah. Let's see that re-entry. Watch out for the engine glow, because that aft end gets very hot during the re-entry. Does not do any entry burn.
Look at
So
that
it
tracking.
glows.
Amazing. Oh, there's the glow
There
coming.
it comes.
Here comes the globe.
There are go for booster catch.
Hey.
Right.
Still all going. There, look at that glow, Alex. Fantastic views.
That's so cool.
Watch for the engines to ignite, and then they will shut down all but 3 for the final approach to the tower.
Let's see what happens. They had 2 engines out on the boost back burn, so let's see let them burn.
Give us that beautiful flamethrower. I'm sorry. There it is.
There it is.
There are the engines.
Ready for ignition.
Whoa!
Looking good. Those engines. Here we go.
And they've done it again.
Yes.
And catch.
They've done it.
Okay.
Welcome.
Wow.
Welcome home.
Wow.
They're already pulling it back towards the tower.
Welcome back, Booster. We have a catch. 3
Another
times. Wow.
There we go.
And-
Very toasty. Look at that.
Look at that toasty booster, but also look in the bottom right. You know what's still running just fine?
The ship, it's still going.
The
of
ship
course.
is still going.
Let's see, because it still has about another minute or so on its burn. It looked like maybe 1 engine on that lightning burn did not work, but the rest were running.
Oh, look at that.
Absolute craziness of SpaceX to have multiple engines back, not on the boost back burn, and also some unsureness, and they are still committing for this, Alex. Whoo! That was interesting. Wow.
Look at that.
I am honestly impressed.
Oh.
Oh. That's a ship rotating, Alex.
Why is it rotating?
That's not nominal.
It's lost one engine.
Doesn't look nominal, yeah.
Oh, tumbling.
Yeah, it's lost.
That is definitely a ship out of control.
And this is why they don't put it into orbit.
I mean, it's tumbling. The fuel is sloshing around everywhere.
So we're still getting video down. From
rather
the ship.
interesting.
We've lost several engines and we've lost attitude control.
It's
of the
tumbling.
vehicle.
This isn't good.
No.
It's
One thing that I did hear earlier, Adrian, if you allow me, they called out on the nets. Oh, sorry. They called out FTS is saved, which is weird. You can see also the.
For those of you that just recently joined us, we had a successful liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship, followed by a successful stage separation. We saw the booster, actually, you can see it just behind us here. The booster had a successful catch back at the tower. Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship. We are standing by as we listen in with the teams on the nets to understand what information we're able to provide you. We will provide that as soon as we are able, but it's pretty incredible to take a moment and see the booster just behind us. Certainly a different view than last time.
And at this point, we've essentially lost contact with the ship. We're no longer receiving telemetry at this moment. So we were only about 20 seconds away or so from the end of that ship ascent burn. We saw several of the engines start to cut out. Once you lose enough of those center engines, you're going to lose attitude control. And so we did see the ship start to go into a spin. And at this point, we have lost contact with the ship. So we're going to listen in for a little bit. I think it's pretty obvious we're not going to continue the rest of the mission today, but just give us a couple more minutes. We'll bring you more information as it comes in.
Oh, dear.
Well,
that was fun to watch from the roof.
And
it was not fun to walk down here and see what they just said. So,
yeah, I mean, Gene, let's quickly talk through what we have just seen. I mean, what it looks like is the 4 engines went out early. That's almost looked like we had 4 engines out a bit early, and that started a tumble because, of course, that will give you asymmetric thrust.
Yep.
And once you're in the asymmetric thrust, you're basically starting to tumble, and they lost altitude control.
Similar to what happened on Flight 7 on the way. We don't know the reasons why, obviously, but yeah, the inner 3 engines can gimbal. The vacuum optimized Raptors. Look at that beautiful ship hanging off the chopsticks booster. They are fixed, right? So the vacuum optimized. So if they have to do massive attitude control maneuvers, they do them with the sea level engines. And as soon as one engine out, they can still control it, but 2 engines out, one sea level just can't handle it, and it will go into, as you say, asymmetric thrust, which will start the vehicle tumbling. I just caught a bit of that as I came back into the studio.
Yeah, it's of course we are standing by for SpaceX to say more and like give us a good overview of what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, was
Adrian,
I correct?
I think.
Go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, I was gonna say there's at least some things that we are sure about, right? That we can talk about here. That booster looks a little bit off from what we saw on previous landings. You may notice that it's actually sort of to the side of the tower. That is not how it landed on previous occasions, which means the chopsticks may have done their work on try to align themselves with where the booster was coming down. Yeah.
This is. I think we saw. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I think we saw the chopsticks almost pivoting over at the catch. We will have to wait for replays, and we will have to wait and see for that. But I think we saw a rapid movement of the chopsticks right before the catch to get the booster. But I mean, good. Let's talk about the successful part here first.
Yep.
They caught another booster. That's the good part here.
All right, so coming back with you real quick. So can confirm we did lose contact with the ship. Unfortunately, this happened last time too, so we've got some practice at this now. We've got a lot of measures in place, like debris response areas where we coordinate very closely with air traffic control. We have a lot of measures put before we ever launch a rocket to make sure that we're keeping the public safe. Those worked last time, and they're actively in work right now. So just to recap real quick, everything we saw, we lifted off right at the top of our window, essentially at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Booster was able to get us all the way up into space, made its way back here. It's sitting on the tower right behind us, our 3rd ever catch. Starship ignited all 6 of its Raptor engines. It was just about 20 or 30 seconds away. We'll get exact times from the end of its ascent burn when we started to see some engines go out on ship. Eventually lost attitude control and then lost contact with the ship shortly after. So obviously a lot to go through, a lot to dig through. We're going to go right at it. The primary reason we do these flight tests is to learn. We have some more to learn about this vehicle, but we're going to be right back here in the not too distant future, and we're going to get a ship to space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We fly to learn, and we're learning a lot. And as is the case with developmental programs such as the Starship program, progress isn't always linear. So at this point, we're going to close out our webcast for the day. But before we do, we'd like to give a shout out to our viewers, of course, as well as our partners, both here in Cameron. Here in Cameron.
Right. So
that was a shame.
Yeah, that was a shame.
I think this could be a bit more of a setback than last time.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I mean, 2 losses in the last 2 tries. We all know space is hard. There's been lots of changes made to these the Starship. Virtually every time it flies, it's got new designed parts, new telemetry, new computer gubbins going on. So yeah, it's very much a shame, but it was very dramatic the way it went. It lost its engines, and yeah, very, very strange. But what was interesting to me was when you saw it tumbling, you could see there was fuel wasn't leaking, because that was all you could see. It sloshing around in the tanks. One minute it'd all be gone, and next minute it'll be back again. So it's very strange. But they'll get to the bottom of it. But I think this one could be a bit more of a problem, just for the fact that they've lost 2 on a row now. So.
Well, it's the reliability of the Raptors, isn't it? That's the Achilles heel of the whole system. They can't, they can't proceed with the Starship really unless they have more or less 100% reliable engines. Perhaps the new Raptor 3 engines will be more reliable. We will just have to wait and see. But as it stands, although the Raptor 2s have not had a high failure rate, you only need, as we just saw, you only need 1 or 2 to fail at the wrong time, and you lose the mission. So
I mean, as you said, Andy, I think the sorting of the engines is going to be the easy bit, but I think it's the stuff that's going to go on in the background, all the investigations that are going to be had now, and it happened a lot earlier in the flight as well this time.
Yes.
So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they've got to sort out what went wrong. It's the same with IM2. They've got to sort out why the lander isn't responded like it should do. Is it on its side? Is it not? But only time will tell. But they'll get the telemetry back. They'll look at it, diagnose what the problems were, and hopefully correct them. But yeah, it was very, very dramatic end to the Starship. That was a shame.
Well, it's been a bit of a dramatic week here on Space Oddities, which isn't over yet, because we hope you'll join us in the early hours of Saturday morning for the launch of the SpaceX and Punch astronomical observatories into orbit on the SpaceX Falcon 9. And it's been a bit of a dramatic week. We had the wonderful landing of the Blue Ghost lander on the moon. So that's down, successful, working perfectly. Then we had delays with the Ariane 6 mission, but in the end that took off into orbit and to deploy a French military satellite. That went fine. And then, of course, today the sort of failure of the IM-2 lander, and now the loss of the Starship. So it's been swings and roundabouts this week, hasn't it, guys, really?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. We're we were sort of like 50-50, but now for today, but now we're on the losing side.
Yeah. Right. On the plus side, though, 3 booster catches out of 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the sort of like the what you can take out of this. You've had 3 successful booster catches now, and it's. I mean, I thought we'd really sorted out going back 2 or 3 flights. We'd sorted out the actual flight of the Starship. With some lovely views of it gently splashing down in the Indian Ocean. But with innovation, of course, things are going to need testing again. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it'll work. It'll happen.
Yeah. So anyway, as I said, we are going live in the early hours of Saturday morning at I think is it 3:50 UK time, or is that? Yes, it's 3:50 UK time, isn't it?
Well, the actual launch is. Let me just have a look at this, because I've had to change it so many times.
Yeah, and changing.
Yeah, we'll be going at 2. We'll be going live at 2:45, because the actual launch window opens at 03:09 UTC. That's UTC.
Right. Okay. So we'll be going. When are we going live? What time did you say?
20. I've got 02:45.
Right. So 02:45 British time, or UTC on Saturday morning.
UTC. Yeah. UTC.
Yeah. We hope you can join us for the launch of the interesting SpaceX and Punch astronomical observatories. SpaceX is an infrared telescope that is going to map all of the sky in more infrared wavelengths than ever been done before. So this is, we know obviously that the James Webb Space Telescope is an infrared telescope, But whereas the James Webb is very good at zooming in on objects, if you like, the Sphere-X mission is to create a wide-angle map of the infrared universe. And that's going to be really interesting to see the results of that. And the Punch mission is 4 suitcase-size satellites that are going to study the solar corona and contribute towards making more reliable space weather to give us better predictions of solar activity, which, as we know, can have a bad effect here on Earth. So that's going to be interesting. That's Saturday morning. And that will wrap up our week. We will, of course, as always, be back on Tuesday for our regular Tuesday live stream. That's 8 p.m. UK time, or UTC on Tuesday. And we hope you can join us for that as well, and all subsequent ones. Just a reminder that we've got a very special April coming up on Space Oddities. April on Space Oddities is Moon Month, where we're going to be bringing you a lot of programming about anything and everything to do with the moon. We're busy preparing for that. We're really excited about the stuff that we are going to be posting on the channel about the moon. So we hope you'll look in on that during April. We will post details of that in the form of a video nearer the time, telling you exactly what's coming up and when. But for now, I think we'll draw things to a close for this evening. We would obviously like to thank you for your donations. We would like to thank you for being with us on this late on this Thursday night. And we do appreciate you spending the time with us. Don't forget, if you would like to contribute towards the running of Space Oddities, you can do so very, very easily by buying us a coffee, first and foremost. And you can buy us a coffee by scanning this QR code or clicking on the link in the chat, and that will take you to the Buy Me a Coffee website, where you can buy us a coffee, and all of the money goes towards keeping Space Oddities broadcasting, which is what we want to do forever for you, basically, bringing the universe to you as we do. Okay, so that's it, I think. So from Daz, from Michael, from Roger, and myself, thank you for being here. If we don't see you in the early hours of Saturday morning, we don't expect to see many people that early on a Saturday morning. But if we don't see you then, we'll see you next Tuesday for our Tuesday live stream. And thank you again for being here. And from all of us, a very good evening.